Welcome to a new approach to the holiday art workshops at the Goldfields Education Centre, Kirstenbosch. In this video, we will demonstrate how the Create a Creature art workshop runs. We would like to encourage you to participate by making your own creature out of recyclable items like plastic bottles, tins, cardboard, and straws. Don't forget to send us a picture of your completed creature, as there are rewards up for grabs. Kirstenbosch is a national botanical garden. It showcases a variety of plants and trees in South Africa, mainly from the fynbos biome. We have many different kinds of plants, including proteas, ericas, restios, pelargoniums, silvertree, o.khutsoane, bohu, and geophytes. We are going to introduce the word biodiversity. Bio means life or living. Diversity means different. Did all the plants that we showed you look the same? No, they are different. So biodiversity means living things are different. South Africa has a lot of biodiversity, not just plants and trees, but a lot of different animals and insects too. There are many pressures and threats to South Africa's biodiversity, and one of these threats is pollution and waste. So if pollution and waste is one of the threats to our biodiversity, what could we start to do about this?
Hello everybody, what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about waste. What I have in front of me, this is my waste bin. So what do we throw in a waste bin? It's our things that we use daily. But before we throw it in the bin, we need to rethink what we're going to do with our waste. And before it goes to the landfill, we must first reduce the things that we're going to do. Right? Now, in my bag I have different things here. Let me take this one out. Like everybody knows that we can't recycle this packet, the chips packet. But before we throw it in the bin, we can actually make nice flowers. Now you can see this is different packets that we have here. So you can make this and you can put this decorations in your room. Okay? The next one that we have here, our bottles here, our 2 liters bottles. So ladies, if you have a lot of jewelry, you can make your own jewelry box. You can see this is the bottom of the bottle that we have here. Let's take a look what we've done here. So you can open it, cut it into size, and it's only the Coke bottles that you must use. And girls, ladies, you can use this as a jewelry box. Isn't it beautiful? So we have different type of plastics. Plastic that you can recycle and plastic that is not recyclable. Let me show you an example. When I take this plastic and I tear, you can see it in a straight line. So that means you can't recycle this plastic. Then we have a different type of plastic. So when you take the plastic and you tear this plastic and it made a nice wavy edge, that means you can recycle this plastic. When we have a kitchen towel or toilet paper rolls, what we can do, you can cut it to size. You can use cardboard, you can use your juice cartons, you can use milk carton. Then you can actually make your own stationery holder. Before we go to the shops to buy things, know that we buy plastic bags, but what we can actually do, we can buy our bags, our recycling bags, we can use it in this list plastic that will go into our water bodies. Yeah? We also have newspaper. Before we throw newspaper away, you can wash your windows, or you can wash your cars, so windows also from this. Right? And then you also have this, before you throw it away, your onions or where your oranges go in, you can also use it to wash some things. Okay? And then we have also this thing there, this job. Before we throw it away, before we can going to recycle this, we can put nice flowers in here, so you can make a nice flower decorations with this that we have here. Alright. So we spoke about our waste bin. We spoke about how we're gonna rethink before we throw the things in the bin. And what we also done, we try to reduce this waste in our bins, right? And we just went through things that we actually reuse to make your jewelry box, to make your stationery holder also. And the last option that we have is recycling. Okay? So if we want a healthy environment, we need to think of reuse, reduce, and recycle.
Do you remember we spoke about biodiversity earlier? Let's do a recap by using letters and pictures to build the word biodiversity. B is for beetle and bat. I is for indigenous flowers. O is for otter and owl. Pause the video. Do you remember what bio stands for? D is for Dassie and Dizers. I is for insects. V is for fakies. E is for Erica and eagle. R is for rhino and rabbit. S is for sunbird and seal. I is for indigenous flowers. T is for turtle. And Y is for yellowwood. South Africa has a lot of biodiversity. But what happens to biodiversity if ecosystems are polluted? In these two pictures, we see water bodies that have been polluted. One is polluted from an oil spill, and the other is polluted by many pieces of plastic and other waste products. But how does this affect the ecosystem? The oil from the oil spill covers birds. The oil sticks to the birds' feathers and they lose their waterproofing. All the plastic and waste in the other picture is a problem for water creatures because they could mistake it for food and swallow the plastic, or they could get entangled in the plastic. In the next two pictures, we see waste dumped on the land. This is an impact on the plants and animals living on the land. The waste pollutes the land, making an unclean place for plants and animals to live. Do you remember the section on what we can do with used waste? Let's do a summary. So what can we do to reduce the waste and pollution on Earth? We can reduce our use of one-use plastic. Instead of using plastic water bottles, we can use metal or glass bottles. We can take our own fabric shopping bags to the shop and not buy their plastic ones. We can use metal straws instead of plastic straws, or use reusable coffee cups and not takeaway ones. Or we could use bamboo toothbrushes and not plastic toothbrushes. We can reuse jars and containers instead of throwing them away. We could use containers to keep stationery in, or turn them into pot plants, or use them to store leftover food in. We can also recycle. A good idea is to have different bins for different recyclable items. You can have a bin for paper, glass, plastic, tins, and general food waste. Animals and insects are important organisms in an ecosystem. They are pollinators. Insects and animals, like bees, butterflies, birds, and mice, ensure that flowers are pollinated. Animals also control populations by eating plants, insects, and other animals. They are also a food source for bigger animals. If you are going to create a creature from waste, you could first do a bug hunt to look for some real creatures.
We are going to do an activity called a bug hunt. We are standing in the farthest section of Kirstenbosch. This is my material that I'm going to use for the activity. I'm going to use my 5-meter string and lay it down to make a square on the ground. This represents a habitat for different type of creatures. Now I'm going to try to catch a creature, but when we catch the creature, we must remember not to hurt the creature, because when we are finished with this activity, I'm going to put the creature back. I'm going to use a stick to see if there is any creature here. I'm going to catch my creature now. Remember not to hurt the creature. If you want to catch more, you can cover the first one with a clear container. If you are happy with what you caught, you can have a closer look under the magnifying glass. We found a centipede. When I'm finished with the bug hunt, my creature is still there and alive. Now I'm going to put it back in its habitat. Now that I'm finished, I'm going to take my material with me.
Now it's your turn to create a creature. You will need the following materials for your art workshop: newspaper to cover the table you're working on, wood glue, Bostik or glue gun, scissors or a crafting knife, craft paint and paint brushes, cleaned waste products like egg cartons, toilet paper rolls, plastic bottles, paper plates, or cardboard boxes. Remember to ask a parent or guardian for help when using sharp objects or glue. To decorate your creature, you could use gift wrapping paper, tissue paper, or crepe paper, plastic or metal bottle caps, straws, wool, pipe cleaners, dried plant material like leaves or flowers. All of these you can find in and around your house.
Hello everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how you can create a creature. The creature that I'm going to create today with you is a caterpillar. However, you don't need to create a caterpillar at home. You can create any creature of your choice. What we're going to need to create our caterpillar: we're going to need scissors, paper, spongy, ball pen, glue, old pipe cleaners, paint, an egg tray, as well as the paint brushes. There are other items that you can use at home for your own creatures, like the lid of old bottles, shiny papers, wool, and sponges, and other materials that you can find. Okay, now let's start creating our own creature. Now we're going to cut our egg tray. We only need just one piece. When we're done cutting our egg container, we are going to paint it. So this is a water paint, so I can easily wash my hands when I'm done. When you're done painting the body of your creature, then you can leave it where it will get dry. While waiting for the body of your creature to get dry, then you can work on the face now, which is the head. You're gonna use sponges. Make sure that your sponges are round. If they are not round, you can use a scissor to cut them round. And I'm going to use an old straw to make eyes on this sponge of mine. Dot and a dot. There we go, it now has eyes. Then I will put this aside so that it can dry. While it's still drying, I will have to draw a mouth on a piece of paper. This is the drawing of the mouth, and then I'm going to cut it off. Let's make sure that it is smiling. Then when you're done cutting it off, you will go and take the spongy head that you have created and use glue to stick it on it. So here's our head and our mouth. Now let's put some glue . And stick our mouth in. Then we're going to wait for it to dry. Once our mouth is dried, we're going to go and fetch the body. And the body is also dried up. We're also going to use glue to stick the head on the body. As I've put my glue, then you take your head and you stick it in. Must hold it a bit. After you're done putting your head in, then you can put this aside so that it can dry. Once it is completely dry, then you can move to the next and the final stages of creating your caterpillar creature. Now it's time to create our horns. Before we create our horns, we need to have holes on the head using a ball pen. Put the ball pen in gently, and then it will come out on the other side. Once it comes out on the other side, then you would have been done with creating the holes. And you're gonna take your pipe cleaners, which you're gonna use them as the horns. You're gonna stick them in on those holes that you have created using a ball pen. Then you pull it on the other side. There you got your horns. Need to adjust them well. See, this is a complete product of our caterpillar. It looks beautiful, right? You at home can also create your own creature using different old materials. But you don't need to necessarily create a caterpillar just like me. You can create any creature that you like. For example, you can look at some of the creatures that other kids have created in the previous years here in Kirstenbosch.